figures, but for most it's quite a warm night, quite a humid feel, certainly across the south. Temperatures holding up in the teens. Still quite breezy here as well. It's been a blustery day and still fairly gusty as we go through Friday. A lot of cloud to start with, but generally dry. Just a bit of a grey, murky start for southern counties of England. Rain and drizzle on and off for Wales and northwest England. Parts of Northern Ireland also starting with a little bit of rain in the morning, and a few showers coming into western Scotland. We'll see more of them developing here, but some breaks in the cloud over eastern Scotland down into northeast England. So generally a fine sunny start tomorrow morning here. Now, as we go through the day, we'll see the skies mostly tending to brighten, the cloud lifting and breaking, the rain and drizzle tending to ease from northwest England and Wales, and some good spells of sunshine coming out. There'll be a bit of brightness between the showers in northwest Scotland, but heavy showers keeping going here. It may stay fairly cloudy across the south coast and breezy, but with some sunshine. Look at those numbers, back up above 20 Celsius. So probably feeling quite a bit warmer across eastern England, certainly compared to today. Into the weekend, and many places becoming drier and warmer, but still plenty of heavy showers across northern Scotland. One or two still for northwest England and Northern Ireland, but the trend as we go into the weekend is for the weather to calm down a little bit, turning drier, eventually sunnier, and also a little bit warmer.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Are you dreaming of a ton of tax-free cash this summer? We want to make that dream come true with a stunning £76,543 and 21 pence in cash to spend however you like. Put a new car on the drive or just relax in the knowledge that this year we've got your back. For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Dubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
The GB News audience is different, it's unique, because they see through the nonsense.
We want to debate with each other, we want to listen and maybe learn.
We have a chat. That's what we do. We try and have a chat.
They'll watch my programme while they're eating their tea, they'll watch breakfast while they're busy getting their kids ready for school.
We want to hear what matters to you, what is news for you.
and what's brought you out here today?
What are the biggest issues affecting this particular area?
The audience are the best thing about GB News.
Their friends, their family.
They're people who need to have their voices heard.
They're passionate about the channel, they're passionate about what they believe in.
The one thing about GB News is you get a chance to speak.
Talk to me about why so many people have gathered here today.
Do you want to say something back in return? The GB News audience is what makes GB News special.
It's incredible to see.
They shape our programmes, they shape our output, and they shape our channel.
That's what makes us the fearless champion of Britain.
It's 9 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys. Tonight, and the breaking news in the past few minutes, Armed Forces Minister Al Carnes has resigned. And in a scathing letter to the Prime Minister, he wrote, "A serving minister cannot ask fellow veterans to trust a process he no longer trusts himself." Get a load of this bit, though. "We ask soldiers to fight for this country. In return, we owe them the kit to do the job and the loyalty to stand by them when it's done. We are failing on both." Devastating stuff for a Prime Minister who is once again in crisis.
First duty, the duty above everything else, is to keep our country safe.
Well, it's clearly not, Prime Minister, is it? Because your Defence Secretary sensationally resigned as well today.
How many frigates do we have in the fleet?
We have.
On second thoughts, that might have actually been quite a good thing. Also, we've lost Pam Nash, everybody. Pam Nash has gone. She was the Parliamentary Private Secretary, I think, to the Ministry of Defence. Anyway, Pam Nash has gone. Big news, big news. In other news... Well, I've got shocking new details about the Northern Ireland stabbing suspects. It looks like he was actually born in Saudi Arabia and... What you're looking at there, apart from the banging tune, of course, was the gang that we have managed to infiltrate, people smuggling gang, posting videos about how they can get illegals into Northern Ireland. I've got a lot more of that for you. Also... Labour wants to clamp down on social media to stop you seeing the truth. Plus, a Pakistani man has been jailed for raping a teenager and the court trying to stop us from reporting that he was actually an asylum seeker. Also...
Kids! Protect our 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 kids!
Illegals have been moved out of the most famous migrant hotel in Britain, the Bell Hotel in Epping. But where are they going? On my panel tonight, we've got political commentator Chloe Dobbs, Tory peer Lord Bailey and former Labour Party advisor, who'd be the next Defence Secretary, is Matthew Larser. And what's going on here?
Hey, buddy. How are you? Hello. You're about to head off to Longston and then Norway.
It's a great story, that. I'll tell you about it later on. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. I'm about to take you inside the smuggling gang getting illegals into Northern Ireland. Next.
Very good evening to you. 3 minutes past 9. Our top stories. Armed Forces Minister Al Carnes has resigned after criticising the government's defence investment plan, hours after John Healey's exit as Defence Secretary. In a letter released on social media, Mr Carnes said, "We owe those who serve the UK the kit to do the job and the loyalty to stand by them when it's done. We're failing on both. I've spent my whole time in government making that case. Number 10 will not listen, so I am resigning." Well, earlier, John Healey, the Defence Secretary, stepped down, saying the amount of money being promised falls well short of what is required for this country at a dangerous time. The Prime Minister has since defended the government's defence funding plan, saying he will increase spending in a sustainable way and would always do what's needed to keep our country safe. The Conservatives, though, are asking why John Healey has yet to be replaced.
Have you, ma'am, been given any indication that the government will come to this House before we rise at the conclusion of business today and make a statement on the chaotic situation who is now in charge of the Ministry of Defence? Similarly, have you been given any indication as to when the government will now, finally, at last, publish the Defence Investment Plan, which is essential for the security of this country?
Donald Trump says he's cancelled further strikes against Iran and claims a deal will be signed imminently. The US president says a great settlement has been agreed and the Strait of Hormuz will reopen immediately after the signing, which is expected to take place in Europe this weekend, with J.D. Vance, the vice president, in attendance. Mr. Trump has repeatedly claimed an agreement was imminent, only for nothing to emerge. He made the announcement at the White House a short time ago. The Police Service of Northern Ireland says it will increase its presence on the streets this evening and has vowed a robust response if there's a third night of violence. The unrest began after a knife attack in Belfast. On Monday, water cannons will be deployed again, and authorities say those behind the violence will be brought to justice. 12 officers were injured and 16 people arrested during a second night of rioting. Northern Ireland Secretary Hilary Benn has condemned what he called racist thuggery. The World Cup's underway, with the hosts Mexico taking on South Africa. More than 80,000 fans are attending the opening game at the Azteca Stadium, which famously hosted Diego Maradona's hand of God moment and the goal of the century 40 years ago. And then this match that's on tonight, a repeat of the 2010 opener. You're up to date. More coming up for you a little later.
Tune in to GB News Radio wherever you are. Online, on DAB digital radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player, on Nation Player and on your smart speaker. Just say, play GB News.
Good evening, and some breaking news to bring you straight out the traps. In the past few minutes, Armed Forces Minister Al Carnes has resigned, and he issued an absolutely scathing letter to the Prime Minister, not holding back at all here. Part of it is: a serving minister cannot ask fellow veterans to trust a process he no longer trusts himself. Al Carnes, by the way, in case you didn't know, is someone who's served this country with absolute distinction. He was, of course, a Military Cross recipient, a full member of our Special Forces. And I'm just going to finish reading this before I give you some more breaking news in a second. He says, "We ask soldiers to fight for this country. In return, we owe them the kit to do the job and the loyalty to stand by them when it's done. We are failing on both. The machinery of government itself has been left to decay." And that is a dig at Starmer over the prosecution of British veterans. So Northern Irish veterans, people who served in Northern Ireland with distinction, etc., who have faced gratuitous and unfair prosecutions. That is a big kick for Starmer. And it comes just hours after Defence Secretary John Healey resigned, blasting the Prime Minister's refusal to commit to spending 3% of GDP on defence by 2030. And apparently Healey was also, and this is the big one of the day, by the way, so hold on to your hats here, John Healey was followed out the door by his ministerial aide, Pam Nash. That's right, Pam Nash has gone. I mean, I imagine that Keir Starmer was there, "Oh, Pam, I can tolerate John. Al's probably going to go, but I can do without him. But not you as well, Pam. Please." Not even a household name in her own home, is she? But anyway, she's gone as well. It creates a fresh crisis for the Prime Minister, who was already limping on despite repeated challenges to his leadership. And I have just been told, whilst I was reading all of that to you, that apparently Dan Jarvis has just been appointed the Defence Secretary. So Dan Jarvis is now our military bod as well, which is fascinating, really. We're going to go to a couple of military experts shortly, probably in about 10 or so minutes. But Dan Jarvis has got a history of being in the military as well, which is probably one of the requirements as well. He has a highly decorated 14-year career as an elite British Army officer, served on the front lines of multiple global conflicts. He was in the Parachute Regiment as well, and he had 14 years of active service and reached the rank rank of major. So, look, there's no disputing, of course, his credentials, don't get me wrong, but this is a little bit, I think, like rearranging the decking on the Titanic. So, yeah, that is all the breaking news when it comes to defence at the moment, which does mean that we will actually have a Defence Secretary when we're doing Trooping the Colour on Saturday, which is nice, isn't it? Because otherwise that would have been more of an embarrassment. Like I said, more on that for you shortly, all going off when it comes to Keir Starmer's cabinet and, of course, defence. But yes, what we're going to do now, though, is talk about the story we were going to do, which is I can now show you exactly how the UK's border with the Republic of Ireland is wide open to illegal immigrants. We have uncovered social media accounts advertising guaranteed access to the UK. So they post clips of Ryanair flights, for example, leaving for Dublin from countries like Albania. So there you are, you can see them all boarding the plane there, Ryanair flight, off you go, lads. Enjoy Dublin. And they then show us stuff like this. Arriving at Dublin Airport, I don't know about you, but I'd deport them for their taste in music alone. But they even specify which terminal. Terminal 2, Dublin Airport, there you go. And look, hey, the cynic in me would say it's not that hard to police that kind of stuff, actually, but this is the airport that the suspect in the Belfast knife attack landed in before travelling to Northern Ireland. And you can see it. There's an entire industry of people out there posting videos on TikTok advertising exactly how to do it. Now, I can also reveal more details about the suspect in that stabbing. Friends of Hadi Al-Odid claim that he worked as a policeman in Sudan for a few months before coming to the UK, where he was reportedly joined by his two brothers. It turns out that he was reportedly born and partly raised in Saudi Arabia before going to Sudan for his education. Now, if you think about it, there's a story in itself here, isn't there? First he was Somalian, then he was Sudanese. Now it turns out he was born in Saudi Arabia. First he took a direct flight from Khartoum to Paris, which is what we were being told last night, isn't it, if you watch this show? Now it's being reported that he may have actually travelled over land and sea into mainland Europe before getting to Paris and getting on a plane. We have absolutely no idea who these people are, do we? We've got no idea. We have unbelievably strict rules on the transportation of things like cold meats or cheese between the EU and the UK. But if you are a Somalian or Sudanese or Saudi Arabian who has come on a boat via Libya and then taken a couple of flights, potentially using a fake document, come on in, mate. Come on in. And our politicians, they just don't get it, do they? Here is Hilary Benn being skewered by Nick Ferrari on LBC today about his pearl-clutching comments, pretending not to know what is meant by an alien culture.
Is beheading an alien culture?
Well, look, we need to let the criminal justice process...
No, I've just said I've moved you globally. Mr Benn, yes. I have moved you away from that. I've specifically said that. We're not talking about the United Kingdom. Globally, is beheading an alien culture?
Well, seeking to behead an individual is absolutely abhorrent.
And is it an alien culture?
I think from all countries would condemn it. The point I was trying to make...
So it is an alien culture, Mr Benn?
Hang on. The point I was making in the House of Commons, and the reason I picked up on the point, the wording alien culture, is that what is that saying about, say, people who come from a particular country in another part of the world? Because perhaps we'd like to contrast one individual who appears to have come from Sudan, originally engaged in this terrible...
Well, I've tried not to speak about that because I want to talk more globally, sir. Is it, I'll ask for the fourth time, is beheading an alien culture, Mr Benn?
It is abhorrent, and of course it is. It's a terrible thing to do.
It is or it is not?
It is alien to all right-thinking people.
Good grief. It's utterly painful, isn't it? And just in case you were wondering how many people we've deported after they wandered into Northern Ireland by using some of those people smugglers that we, within a day, were able to just find operating on TikTok, one person. We've deported one person. Yeah. And apparently, we don't keep a record of the amount of people coming across that border. It is insanity. It is insanity. Now, shortly, we're going to take you live to our reporter, Doogie Beattie, who I don't think is quite ready for us just yet, but we will go to him shortly. Before that, we're going to go to my panel. We've got political commentator Chloe Dobbs, Tory peer Lord Bailey, former Labour Party advisor Matthew Lards. And now, look, again, in just a couple of minutes, we're going to be having a big discussion about the procession of resignations from our defence sector politically today. But
I thought you made me Defence Secretary for about a minute.
You can be.
Yeah, for a minute I was.
As long as you don't go the same way as Pam Nash. God bless her. So let's just focus on this for now. I mean, Sean, I'll start with you. So the impunity with which these human traffickers are penetrating our non-border on the island of Ireland is a bit of a joke, actually.
There's three things to say. Firstly, I want to take us back to Keir Starmer smashing the gangs. I sat on this sofa and told you that simply would not happen because he has no relationship with the country where the gang's coming from. If you look at the video you showed, they're a travel agency at this point. They are literally a travel agency.
Yeah.
Flashy music. I mean, you can pick which terminal. That says to you how much freedom these gangs have had to operate. You can pick a terminal. There's alternative routes. That's out of order. I bet it's as much a surprise to the Irish government as it was to me that this was a route in anyway, and that needs to be stopped. We can't go back to a hard border. We mustn't go back to a hard border because we have our own internal issues that we need to deal with, and that soft border was part of it. But somebody could check. So, I mean, we should check before they got on the plane. But if we're going to, we could at least say, you know, could we have a quick look at your passport?
Not being funny, but how hard is it, right? You know, there's coaches that go across the border. And with the best will in the world, you know, like I imagine quite a few of the lads from Sudan might stand out a little bit on that coach. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just saying it's probably a coach full of Northern Irish and Republic of Irish people who might travel back and forth every day for work or whatever. And then if there's a few lads from Sudan on it, you might just ask them a few questions. Hey, they might be tourists. They might be just nipping over there, going back and forward. They want to have a look at the countryside, maybe. But you could ask them a few questions because at the moment we're not doing that, are we? And now it turns out again we didn't even know he was Somalian, then he was Sudanese, then he was Saudi Arabian. He got a direct flight over. No, it turns out he might have got a boat from Libya. No one's got any clue what's going on here, have they?
Yeah, I mean, if you were on a bus and you saw a bunch of lads that looked like they might be Sudanese, it would make sense to ask some questions. But just like how you've got police terrified to do stop and search more so on the black community because they think they might be called racist, it's probably the same here. They're scared to ask those questions because they may be called racist. There are some people who have responded to this saying, oh, the only possible solution is to have a hard border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. But, I mean, there are some pretty basic things that we can do before that would make a big difference. First of all, having checks on those buses. My understanding is that we've got more checks with buses going from Northern Ireland to the Republic of Ireland than the other way around. Right? Why isn't that equal? And, I mean, it's one thing getting someone to make you a fake ID when you're a teenager to flash in front of a bouncer, but to be able to go through an airport with a fake ID that some gangsters have made up, why is that being allowed? How are they getting away with that? And the fact that, you know, it's one thing changing the way that you check an ID in an airport, but just you could do the basics and just go on TikTok, find these people, as you've done with the smugglers in France. You can just send them a WhatsApp and you've got their number and you've got their location, and it's really easy to find these people, but the government doesn't act on it.
No, and again, just some of these TikToks, I don't know if we might be able to just play them without the sound on, but some of these TikToks that we showed there, Matthew, again, you know, this is a cursory glance of social media. You find this stuff, you can see the people that are interacting with them underneath the video, commenting, can I get in touch with you? Yes. They'll move the conversation over to WhatsApp. Look, this is not beyond the realms of possibility for our intelligence services to monitor this stuff and crack it, is it?
No, and I mean, I hope that, you know, further action is taken against them. I mean, as Sean says, it is a very difficult situation. We cannot introduce a hard border. I mean, the government has today committed to doing more checks on travel between the Republic and particularly on buses and on the train service that links the two. The issue in Dublin is the responsibility of the government of the Republic. I mean, sadly, you know, British ministers can say whatever they like, but it's up to the Republic what it does there. I hope that they can put pressure on the Republic to make sure, because you have to be able to enter the EU if somebody comes through Dublin Airport. I think that's you know, you have to have a document that allows you to get in. It's not so that is because they're not in the Schengen agreement. So therefore, you have to, you know, you don't just walk in. You have to show a passport or travel document. So I don't he must have had... This is why actually the Dublin government has questioned the version of the events that was released the other day, which said that he came through Dublin, and there now seems to be a bit of a question mark about that. But we cannot go back to having a hard border with every bus stopped, every car stopped, because that will be the end. That will be the... We can do some more checks. That's what the government's committed to doing.
I'm not even suggesting at the border. Put the border to one side. At the airport, and I... Yeah,
but they're flying into not a British airport, though. That's the issue.
But the airport, just out of neighbourliness, help us out here.
No, I agree with you, but it's up to them to do it. We can't force them.
There are safety implications here, aren't there? I'm sorry about this, but if it is the case, seriously, that thousands, potentially, of people are flying into Dublin Airport, potentially on fake documents, with goodness knows what intention, I'm sorry, but that is nuts. I mean, the amount of security that we have to go through and all of that, and the threats at airports, especially since 9/11... No, this is just...
There are only 2,400 asylum seekers in Northern Ireland, which is...
Northern Ireland.
Now, obviously, then there's a question of once people...
3,000 in current
absolutely. I mean, I think clearly the British government needs to sit down ASAP with the Irish counterparts and say, what's going on? Are there weaknesses in the system? Is this actually happening at this scale? Because we need to establish if it is. What are the weak spots? And working with them to do that.
But I don't trust Starmer to be the tough negotiator to make the Republic of Ireland do what we need to do. I mean, look at how they've acted with France, as Siobhan Mahmood, just handing them more and more cash, even though they refuse to give us a proper agreement that's actually tied properly to any results, so they can just take our money and spend it on fun beach buggies to go around.
And making sure that... This is the one reason why I don't have full respect for Siobhan Mahmood, because she's let the French just absolutely have their way.
The deal's got performance-related...
We've got to go... I just want to get to that... Sorry, I just want to get to that breaking news about the fact that we've got a new Defence Secretary for about 20 minutes until he probably goes as well. But before that, it's time for the Great British Giveaway. We're offering you the chance to be the Defence Secretary for a day. No, not really. It's loads of cash. Here's Hayley Sparks with all the details.
We're here at the Imperial Island Resort in Paphos to celebrate the chance to enjoy your most spectacular summer to date. Someone has to win our stunning cash prize of £76,543.21, and that person really could be you. Imagine all of the fun you could have this year with that. You could treat the family, treat your friends, make it a super summer for everyone you know.
Or just enjoy a bit of me time, safe in the knowledge all those day-to-day financial stresses have been taken care of.
£76,543.21 in totally tax-free cash could be yours in time for summer. Just make sure you don't miss out as lines close on the 26th of June.
For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Well, coming up, that breaking news just in. The Prime Minister has appointed now a new Defence Secretary. It's Dan Jarvis. This follows John Healey's sensational resignation earlier today. Al Carnes has gone as well. He was the Armed Forces Minister. And, of course, lest we forget about poor Pam Nash, who struggled on as the Parliamentary Private Secretary to the Secretary of State of Defence. She valiantly threw her towel in earlier today as well. So, yeah, he's lost everyone around him when it comes to defence. But now we've got Dan Jarvis. I'm going to find out exactly what's going on here and the reasons why they quit. I mean, basically, they are accusing Starmer of leaving Britain defenceless. We need to talk about that. That's next.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
We can allow.
Stop.
You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, Parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain,
with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way.
You will not want to miss it, trust me. The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Welcome back. Well, it's another night of breaking news, and this time we have a new Defence Secretary. The Prime Minister has just appointed Dan Jarvis as Defence Secretary following John Healey's exit, a sensational exit earlier on, actually. The appointment comes on a dramatic evening in Westminster. In the last hour, Armed Forces Minister Al Carnes has resigned. He wrote an absolutely scathing letter to the Prime Minister. Bits of it basically read that he's no longer trusts the process himself. This is all over defence spending and defence funding. We were supposed to have the defence investment plan published in December 2025. It's still not been published, but clearly people in the Ministry of Defence have had advance sight of it and they are not happy. He goes on to say, we ask soldiers to fight for this country. In return, we owe them the kit to do the job and the loyalty to stand by them when it's done. We are failing on both. And what he's referring to there is the Northern Ireland Legacy Bill, which is essentially opens the door for people to be prosecuted, which is ridiculous, in my view anyway, an affront to the contract signed between the British government, the British people, and the people who bravely serve this country. Earlier today, Sir Keir Starmer hit back following the shock resignation of Defence Secretary John Healey, who did resign over that row on defence spending. In a letter to Mr Healey, Sir Keir Starmer defended his investment plan for the armed forces, said he's proud of Labour's record on defence spending and that he will always do what is needed to keep our country safe. And we're joined now to discuss this by former SAS officer Richard Williams. Thank you very much for joining us. Just first things first, when it comes to the issue of why they've all resigned, when it comes to actual defence spending, lack of resources to keep both the British public and members of the armed forces safe, and also the legacy issue, which is going to lead to prosecutions of veterans, Starmer just does not accept that, does he?
Clearly not. He's living in, cloud cuckoo land. A political bomb has gone off in defence, and the bomb has alerted everybody to what we all suspected and many knew, is there's not enough money. The legal basis for military operations is completely broken, and we've got Lord Hermer and his friends to thank for that. And then there is no transformation plan. As Al Cairns, who, by the way, good on him for stepping down in this way, and good on the Defence Secretary for stepping down in this way, has said you've got the ability with a few drones to destroy $1 billion of equipment, and no one's talking about transformation. So Al Cairns' message is right on all the big points. Not enough money, no transformation, and no legal basis. And Starmer, what's he doing? Ignoring that. And he's ignoring the voice of his political appointees who have struggled from within the system to try and get the Treasury and Number 10 to pay attention. And they've said, I've had enough. I can only imagine what the service chiefs think. And I'm pretty sure the service chiefs stand with Healy and Cairns and everybody who speaks security common sense, which is not what the Prime Minister does.
Look, you will know much better than I do, and thank you yet again for everything you've done for this country, by the way. But I read Al Cairns' CV, and it sounds fantastic. You know, this guy, military cross recipient, has fought in pretty much every single major conflict for the last 20 years or something like that. You know, in the Special Forces, rose to be colonel, I believe, as well. I mean, just on top of that, he's also climbed Everest, which is, so he's obviously hard as a coffin nail on top of everything else he's done. And if you lose someone like Al Cairns, I can only imagine what this must do for the morale of our armed forces. And the thing that really sticks in the craw for me, Richard, is that I believe Starmer has chosen to stick with Rachel Reeves over protecting the British citizens and the British Armed Forces, because he knows that if he gets rid of Rachel Reeves, he's got to go. You get rid of your Chancellor, you're done as well. So he's chosen that over the defence of the realm.
And I think that argument's been going on, evidently, for over a year now, if not before. This defence investment budget, really, because that's what it is, to allow you to buy new equipment, has been debated and debated and debated at the back end of this strategic defence review. The SDR looked pretty good. It talked about transformation, talked about a whole bunch of things. But where's the bloody money? And between defence and Rachel Reeves and everybody in the middle, the money has not turned up. And so the political appointees who are there to try and put, lipstick on the pig here and sell the best story have said, I just can't do this anymore. Your point on Al Cairns and his distinguished military career is absolutely spot on. He really knows what he's talking about when we're talking security, defence, and what needs to be done. And I can only imagine the struggles he must have been going through when he was asked to compromise on what he knew was right with the Northern Ireland Bill, and what he knew was right with transformation, and what he knew was right with respect to resources. And good on him for standing up and saying, I've had enough, I'm walking out of here.
And when you think about it, we have such few experts in government. You know, we've got a Chancellor who essentially has been accused of, I think putting it mildly, would be polishing her CV somewhat. We've got various people, the list could go on, right? People who've got no actual experience in the department that they are tasked with running. And then you've got someone like Al Cairns, who you couldn't ask for a better example of someone who really knows what they're on about, and he doesn't listen to him. He goes with someone else instead. Remarkable. Look, just focus on the actual breaking news now, which is that Dan Jarvis is our new Defence Secretary. Look, again, at face value, you will correct me if I'm wrong here, I'm looking at his CV, 14 years military experience. I think he rose to the position of Major, was in the Parachute Regiment. So you used a phrase there that I thought was quite good, putting lipstick on a pig. Now, Al Cairns is basically saying that as a veteran himself, he can't, in good faith, stand beside this and just suck it up. Why do you think Dan Jarvis thinks he's able to here? What do you make of him accepting this position?
I think he's being disloyal to defence and being loyal to his own career and his bosses. I think it's likely to be an exceedingly shallow experience for everybody in defence, with Dan Jarvis just wheeling out the Treasury line and everyone in defence rolling their eyes and hoping we get a government that takes defence seriously. Dan Jarvis is going to deliver absolutely nothing other than some words delivered in a new accent. What we have to see is change. And Dan Jarvis, unless he turns up with more money, Binning the Northern Ireland bill and focusing on real transformation is just going to be more of those who put lipstick on this increasingly fat and rotten defence pig.
Scathing stuff. I mean, look, it's going to be fascinating to see in the coming days, you know, what members of our armed forces like yourself and veterans, you know, make of this, that whether or not Dan Jarvis is doing the right thing here, really, to be honest.
I think so, Patrick, and I think, thank you for giving people like me the opportunity to be candid. You know, this is not a time to dress things up. You've got the people who were charged with the defence of this country, the political appointees within the government saying this country is not being defended. The subs aren't at the sea. We can't put the Navy in the Med. We don't have a vehicle program or a drone program that makes sense for future warfare. Oh, and by the way, our veterans are just sitting on conveyor belts of legal process, which is totally unnecessary and underwritten by human rights law. We all have to speak up at this point and go, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. We do. Look, thank you. I could talk to you all day, but we're going to have to move on, I'm afraid. But thank you very, very much. And thanks again for everything that you've done for our great country. Former SAS officer there. Richard Williams, look, there you have it. We're going more on this at 10 p.m. because it is huge stuff, really. Essentially, we've got a procession of people in the know telling us all today we are not safe. Coming up.
And that he protects and closes the open, porous border between our country and the Irish Republic.
Yeah, we're going to return to that other big story of the day. We're going to go to Northern Ireland with our reporter, Doogie Beattie, who was on the ground for us. Is it kicking off again tonight? I'm not actually sure. We'll have to find out from Doogie. But what are we going to do about this border? I showed you at 9 p.m. how easy it was to penetrate it. How are we going to stop that? And frankly, yes, yet again, keep us all safe. That's next.
Be nice to escape the grey.
Clear skies, here we come.
As clear as our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there. High pressures building in for much of Europe to bring plenty of sunshine. It's especially warm through the Canary Islands through the rest of this week. Temperatures climbing towards the high 20s across Tenerife. Also quite warm in Portugal as well as Italy. Temperatures climbing to the low 30s here. There's a risk of thunderstorms across Greece, particularly in the afternoons, and that risk does continue into the weekend. But otherwise, it looks pretty warm and pretty sunny if you're heading away. Bye-bye.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Good evening. Today's rain is generally clearing away overnight, and tomorrow looks a lot drier and a bit warmer than today as well. Won't be sunny all day. We'll see skies tending to brighten though as we go through the day. Still some showers to come in western Scotland. We're between high and low pressure. These weather fronts definitely won today's battle with a lot of cloud and outbreaks of rain. It is all now starting to clear away. We'll keep some rain and drizzle around western coast and hills through the night, but many places will be largely dry through the night. Some breaks in the cloud appearing over northeast England and eastern Scotland, where temperatures may dip down to single figures. But for most, it's quite a warm night, quite a humid feel, certainly across the south. Temperatures holding up in the teens. Still quite breezy here as well. It's been a blustery day and still fairly gusty as we go through Friday. A lot of cloud to start with, but generally dry. Just a bit of a grey, murky start for southern counties of England. Rain and drizzle on and off for Wales and northwest England. Parts of Northern Ireland also starting with a little bit of rain in the morning, and a few showers coming into western Scotland. We'll see more of them developing here, but some breaks in the cloud over eastern Scotland down into northeast England. So generally a fine sunny start tomorrow morning here. Now as we go through the day, we'll see the skies mostly tending to brighten, the cloud lifting and breaking, the rain and drizzle tending to ease from northwest England and Wales, and some good spells of sunshine coming out. There'll be a bit of brightness between the showers in northwest Scotland, but heavy showers keeping going here. It may stay fairly cloudy across the south coast and breezy, but with some sunshine. Look at those numbers, back up above 20 Celsius. So probably feeling quite a bit warmer across eastern England, certainly compared to today. Into the weekend, and many places becoming drier and warmer, but still plenty of heavy showers across northern Scotland. One or two still for northwest England and Northern Ireland, but the trend as we go into the weekend is for the weather to calm down a little bit, turning drier, eventually sunnier, and also a little bit warmer.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Welcome back. We're going to go straight to Northern Ireland now with GB News' Northern Ireland reporter, Dougie Beattie, who is in Belfast for us. Dougie, thank you very, very much. So, look, what's the state of play tonight? I know last night there was water cannons, it was all kicking off. What's happening now?
Well, I'm actually in Portadown. Patrick, I've moved up to Portadown because Belfast is pretty quiet at this moment in time. And believe it or not, to actually film a riot is a bit of a science. A lot of contacts, a lot of phone numbers to find out exactly where this is going to happen. So far tonight, we haven't seen any trouble, but it is still very light. And the Police Service of Northern Ireland have brought in 200 extra policemen from right across the UK. So we don't know. We will be continuing to monitor through the night to see is there trouble in various areas. But hopefully, Patrick, it has faded out tonight. It may start again over the weekend, but at this minute in time, Northern Ireland is quiet. I'm very pleased to report. But yes, most of this is over the immigration that comes in. Portadown over the last 2 nights has also seen a lot of rioting, and that's because Portadown has a lot of immigrants in it. And over the past couple of nights, there's been a lot of houses and so forth burned in here, and the community are very, very angry about how they've been treated. But they've also been angry because of the border, the porous border that you have been talking about tonight. I actually said this on GB News 3 years ago. I pointed out the flaw in the framework document, the protocol, whatever you want to call it, and I was told it was nonsense, total nonsense. That wasn't true. But when you read stuff, and I read a lot of stuff, you can actually see it, and it is into play. Now we have people saying, oh, you can't have a hard border back, it will affect the Good Friday Agreement. Well, actually, it doesn't affect the Good Friday Agreement. I read the Good Friday Agreement. I was old enough to vote on it, and it does not mention anything about the border. In fact, it says the border cannot be changed unless there's a referendum, and the framework document actually moved the customs border into the middle of the Irish Sea. That was against the Good Friday Agreement, but nobody wants a military border in Ireland. That's a fact, Patrick. What they want is checks to make sure that people are coming in and out of the country. We know who they are, and that goes both ways. As you know, over the past few years I've been in the Republic of Ireland a lot, and all they're looking is checks on either side of the border for passports, etc., to make sure that they know he is in the country, and it's not happening. For some reason, it doesn't happen.
Well, Dougie, look, thank you very, very much. You always put a massive shift in for us here, and I know that you're going to be monitoring the situation for us there in Portadown over the course of the evening. We will, of course, go back to Dougie Beattie if anything does kick off. We hope it doesn't, but if it does, we will be there for you and show you exactly what's going on. Going head-to-head on the issue of whether or not we should actually have a hard border now are Carla Lockhart, who is a DUP MP for Upper Cann, and the former Conservative MEP and Special Advisor on the Northern Ireland peace process, David Campbell-Bannerman. Thank you very much. Great to have you both on the show. Really appreciate it. I will start with you, Carla, if that's all right. What do you think about the idea of returning to something resembling a hard border?
Well, ultimately, I think we have to look at why and how this conversation has arisen. It's something we have been saying over the last number of years regarding immigration and illegal immigration and people having a backdoor into the UK via the Republic of Ireland. Obviously, we are still reeling from the very barbaric attack that took place in North Belfast. And I suppose the spotlight has really been shown on the fact that this individual travelled through 2 safe countries, made his way from France to Dublin and then via bus to Northern Ireland, and ultimately that has left him in the UK. So, you know, our concern is that we're continuing to see a stream of people coming into the United Kingdom via the border, and that is unacceptable. These people should be seeking asylum in the first country that they arrive into, which is deemed as a safe place. So we've got to look at how we stop that and how we put checks in place to ensure these individuals don't have free passage.
All right, Carla, thank you very much. David, I'll bring you in now. Go on, your views then, because there are calls now for a hard border.
Yeah, I'm not in favour of a hard border. I don't think it's practical. Obviously, I'm in favour of checks. I mean, the real issue actually is we have a common travel area, obviously, between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. The border actually that needs policing is with the European Union. I mean, the suspect in this dreadful stabbing, beheading, it was coming from Paris and the EU. So I think it actually raises big questions about that. Do you have a common travel area border? I don't think it's practical between Northern Ireland and the Republic.
OK, fair enough. Carla, just we could keep it relatively snappy. What do you think about the idea that we would return to Troubles if there was anything that could even remotely be described as a hard border?
That's utter nonsense, and we've seen that trotted out by our political opponents, Sinn Féin and the likes. With regards to immigration, we need to see checks. Already there are in place checks for people travelling from the UK to the Republic of Ireland. We want to see that replicated. There are absolutely no checks when they're coming from the Republic of Ireland into the United Kingdom. And, you know, the government will very quickly say, oh, there's 70% checks on sea and air. But, you know, this person came via bus, and there are absolutely no checks on the bus. There are no checks on the Enterprise. We need to get back to checking these people and ensuring that they do not enter our country illegally. They need to take asylum in the first country, first safe country that they arrive in. And for me, it's about protecting our borders, and our government needs to get a grip on this. People are angry, people are cross, and they do not want these people in our country illegally.
And thank you. And David, look, just quickly, how would you enforce checks at the border on the island of Ireland without it looking like a hard border then?
Well, you can't have hard border checks, as we found with customs. And, of course, you don't do it with the pound and the euro. You know, there's lots of... and, you know, the speed limits are different, miles per hour, KPR, KPH as well. So I don't think that's practical. It's also not DUP policy. The leader was on the radio this morning, Radio Ulster, actually saying this is not party policy to have a hard border. I'm glad to hear that from the DUP, which I have a lot of respect for. I think you can have umpteen checks. I mean, they check on the trains, the Republic of Ireland, the Garda check on the trains from Belfast to Dublin, obviously just in the Republic. So, I mean, you know, you can have umpteen checks around the island of Ireland, and rightly so, particularly with this dreadful incident we've witnessed recently.
I can't help but wonder whether or not there is a case here, a little bit like we see with the French, and possibly now with the Belgians as well, which is actually they are quite happy to see these people leave, and therefore us putting the emphasis on getting them to do something is going to be a problem. But look, thank you so much, both of you. I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight. I hope to talk to you again soon. It's Carla Lockhart there, DUP MP for Upper Cann, and the former Conservative MEP and Special Advisor on the Northern Ireland peace process, David Campbell Bannerman. Well, lots more on the agenda tonight.
First duty, the duty above everything else, is to keep our country safe.
Well, Sir Keir Starmer has chosen his own job, what remains of it, over the defence of our nation, and that is seriously damning stuff. More information on the resignations today from our Defence Secretary. Also, what we're going to be doing next is a Pakistani migrant, is actually an asylum seeker, has been jailed for raping a vulnerable teenager, but the court tried to stop us reporting that he was an asylum seeker. That's next.
Britain's Newsroom, weekday mornings from 9:30.
it's like tricking people into thinking it's something greater than it is, but really it's a hot dog bun with icing on. And when you're going to a shop and you've got an ice bun and right next to it you've got this beautiful plump glazed donut, which one are you going to pick? You're going to be treat-wise and you're going to pick the one that's not a hot dog covered with icing.
Fair point.
I haven't had an ice bun for years.
So what kind of cakes are
Probably
people
that's
buying
why.
instead?
There we are, you see, that's right. What's the most popular cake now?
I would say in terms of treats, people are liking really chunky cookies, and because that's got a hit of nostalgia as well, because I know ice bun is so steeped in nostalgia.
GB News, the People's Channel. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
This is England's first ever cycle street. But what is a cycle street, I hear you ask? Well, take a look. It's basically a cycle lane on steroids. The whole road is a cycle lane. So let's see what it's like. It's designed to be safer for cyclists. Cyclists have priority over cars. Cars still can use the road, but look, it's a cycle street. The council say it's safer for cyclists. Cars have to go more slowly. There's also fewer parking spots for cars so that they can't open their doors in the cyclist's face, and there's fewer blind spots as well. They've also made the pavements wider in order for pedestrians to have easier access walking on this street. But all of this came at a cost of £2 million and took 7 months to build.
GB News, the People's Channel. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Scandal isn't exactly the word, but of course we are in a time of, as you know, very considerable sensitivity when it comes to royal finances and any money spent on the royal family.
So, I mean, should this money be going back to the taxpayer? Is that the real problem here?
I think that the argument is that the taxpayer could have got a better bargain from what was negotiated at the beginning and when this began. I mean, this is not an dissimilar arrangement to that, for example, with Andrew Mountbatten Windsor when it came to the main house. But as I say, subletting is something that apparently they're doing. The way the Public Accounts Committee in the House of Commons will be looking into the way the Crown Estate handles royal property.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Welcome back. We're going to return to the breaking news that we've got a new Defence Secretary for probably about 20 minutes before he quits as well. But it's not him, because he is a Pakistani national, Shiraz Malik, who was today jailed for 10 years after being convicted of 2 counts of rape following an attack on a vulnerable teenager last summer. Now, the court heard that Malik and a friend took turns raping the teenager before asking her, "Did you enjoy that?" But there's another dimension to this case as well, because you wouldn't have known it reading any court reports at the time, but he is actually an asylum seeker. And the reason you wouldn't have known it is because the court put reporting restrictions on that until he was ultimately found guilty and sent to prison. Joining me now to discuss this is the Deputy Online Editor of The Critic, Tom Jones. Tom, look, the crime itself is obviously unbelievably hideous, and it's a case of kind of, you know, here we go again, sadly, with this stuff. But again, it's that desire to stop us knowing the truth about someone's immigration status, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got to be honest, Patrick, it feels like I was on here just yesterday talking about like an almost identical crime. And honestly, how long can this go on? It is absolutely disgusting. And I agree. I think what's really disgusting here is the judge suspended the public from being made aware of the rapist's asylum status until the conclusion of the trial. And this is something that we're seeing more and more of. I mean, it should say that I think that his asylum status was initially broken by Lee Anderson, to whom I think, frankly, we should be incredibly thankful. And the judge at a Nirmal Shant imposed the reporting restriction to avoid what he called a substantial risk of prejudice to the administration of justice. And I just don't understand. Well, I think I understand perfectly well. I think judges and authorities are absolutely petrified of the public outrage about these just constant stream of of crimes that we are seeing committed in this country.
Sorry, we can't have this, Tom. You know, we've got talk at the moment, we're going to be doing this at 10:20 about basically cutting off social media if there's a time of crisis. Well, sorry, no. And yeah, we cannot have it where people are in court accused of hideous crimes and the judge decides that we're not allowed to know their immigration status. That's ridiculous.
Well, you know, I would say that is a primary reason that Labour are bringing forward the bans on social media. You also forget, you know, that is supported by the Conservatives, who spent £7 billion and having a restriction on reporting for the Afghan resettlement scheme for nearly 2 years that barred the press, that barred the MPs and the public knowing about the secret resettlement of tens of thousands of Afghan asylum seekers as well. So we do see both parties colluding in this. Yeah. And I genuinely think the desire to bring forth social media, you know, why they're bringing it forward, it's the picture of that migrant in Belfast. That's why it's happening.
They don't get that ultimately, Tom. It causes more anger. Look, thank you very much. I'm sorry it's a bit short and sweet, but we've had a lot of breaking news to get through, so thank you very much. Tom Jones there, the online editor of The Critic. Look, when we come back, we're going to get stuck right in to why Keir Starmer has chosen the Treasury over national security. That's next.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good evening. Today's rain is generally clearing away overnight and tomorrow looks a lot drier and a bit warmer than today as well. Will be sunny all day. We'll see skies tending to brighten though as we go through the day. Still some showers to come in western Scotland. We're between high and low pressure. These weather fronts definitely won today's battle with a lot of cloud and outbreaks of rain. It is all now starting to clear away. We'll keep some rain and drizzle around western coast and hills through the night, but many places will be largely dry through the night. Some breaks in the cloud appearing over northeast England and eastern Scotland, where temperatures may dip down to single figures. But for most, it's quite a warm night, quite a humid feel, certainly across the south. Temperatures holding up in the teens. Still quite breezy here as well. It's been a blustery day and still fairly gusty as we go through Friday. A lot of cloud to start with, but generally dry. Just a bit of a grey, murky start for southern counties of England. Rain and drizzle on and off for Wales and northwest England. Parts of Northern Ireland also starting with a little bit of rain in the morning and a few showers coming into western Scotland. We'll see more of them developing here, but some breaks in the cloud over eastern Scotland down into northeast England. So generally a fine sunny start tomorrow morning here. Now as we go through the day, we'll see the skies mostly tending to brighten, the cloud lifting and breaking, the rain and drizzle tending to ease from northwest England and Wales, and some good spells of sunshine coming out. There'll be a bit of brightness between the showers in northwest Scotland, but heavy showers keeping going here. It may stay fairly cloudy across the south coast and breezy, but with some sunshine. Look at those numbers, back up above 20 Celsius. So probably feeling quite a bit warmer across eastern England, certainly compared to today. Into the weekend, and many places becoming drier and warmer, but still plenty of heavy showers across northern Scotland. One or two still for northwest England and Northern Ireland, but the trend as we go into the weekend is for the weather to calm down a little bit, turning drier, eventually sunnier, and also a little bit warmer.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
£76,543 and 21 pence in tax-free cash could be yours this summer. That's totally tax-free cash to spend on anything you like. And remember, because it's totally tax-free cash, you'll get to keep every single penny for a chance to win. Text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At the stroke of midnight, the news doesn't stop, and neither do we.
Day in, day out. Forget stuffy late-night TV shows. We're giving you a front-row ticket to the centre of the political universe.
Because breaking news doesn't wait for the morning.
And neither do we. Join us for one of the most controversial and volatile times of politics in human history.
A very big story.
Big story over here.
You won't get this anywhere else. The Late Show live at midnight, every night.
Only on GB News.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
It's 10 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys. I'm breaking tonight.
My first duty, the duty above everything else, is to keep our country safe.
Well, the Prime Minister has just appointed Dan Jarvis as the new Defence Secretary after this man resigned in a massive row over defence spending.
How many frigates do we have in the fleet?
We have
Was then Defence Secretary, of course, John Healey, but Armed Forces Minister Al Kans, he resigned about an hour ago. And his letter was absolutely scathing to the Prime Minister. He basically said he's lost complete faith in the process. He also slammed the Prime Minister for going along with historic prosecutions of British veterans. Really, really damning stuff in all of that. So we'll talk about that shortly. But the government is obviously in crisis again tonight now. Plus... Well, there are shocking new details about the Northern Ireland stabbing suspect. It looks like he was actually born in Saudi Arabia, and our Northern Ireland reporter Doogie Beattie has imported down for us this evening. Look, there's thankfully it's not kicking off there tonight. There are rumours that it might. He says he's going to stick around for us, and we will obviously bring you any updates as and when we get them. Also... Well, Labour's big plan to tackle some of the societal issues facing Great Britain are to stop you seeing social media during a time of crisis. They just don't want us to see the truth, which is a bit of a problem, I think. Plus...
Kids! Protect our 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 kids!
Well, it's been a big day of news because this happened. Illegals have been moved out of the most famous migrant hotel in Britain, the Bell Hotel in Epping. But where are they going to go? Adam Brooks, who has been at a lot of those demonstrations, of course, you all know who Adam Brooks is, he's going to be joining us live at 10:30 for the latest on that. And I will also have all of tomorrow's newspaper front pages. Let's find out what's breaking on the front of tomorrow's Financial Times. They go for Healey quits over defence budget hole in heavy blow to Starmer's authority. On our panel tonight, we have got political commentator Chloe Dobbs, Tory peer Lord Bailey, and former Labour Party advisor Matthew Larzer. And any idea what's going on here?
Hey, buddy. How are you? Hello. You're about to head off to Longston and then Norway.
OK, I'll reveal it. It's a fantastic story. I will actually put a smile on your face. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Sir Keir Starmer has officially left Britain defenceless. Next.
Very good evening to you. Our top stories from the GB newsroom. Armed Forces Minister Al Cairns has resigned hours after John Healey's exit as Defence Secretary. In a letter released on social media, Mr Cairns criticised the government's defence investment plan, saying we owe those who serve the UK the kit to do the job and the loyalty to stand by them when it's done. We're failing on both. Number 10 will not listen, so I'm resigning. John Healey stepped down earlier, saying the amount of money being promised falls well short of what's required for the country at this dangerous time, and he has been replaced by former Security Minister Dan Jarvis. Sir Keir Starmer has insisted the government will give Britain's armed forces the capabilities they need to defend Britain and keep the nation secure. But Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch says John Healey was right to walk away.
Yesterday, I raised the issue of the Defence Investment Plan, and the Prime Minister exposed the fact that he was not going to put money into defence to the amount that was required. And I'm sure John Healey sat there listening to the Prime Minister tell me that he was increasing defence funding when he is not. He has done the honourable thing and resigned. I am glad that he agrees with me that we need to put more money into defence.
Donald Trump says he's cancelled further strikes against Iran and claims a peace deal will be signed imminently. The US president says a great settlement's been agreed and the Strait of Hormuz will reopen immediately after the signing, which is expected to take place in Europe this weekend, with Vice President J.D. Vance in attendance. Mr Trump, though, has repeatedly claimed in recent weeks an agreement was imminent, only for nothing to emerge. He made the announcement at the White House a short time ago.
The Strait will officially open as soon as we sign, which could be soon, very soon, maybe over the weekend, in Europe. I won't be able to be there, but JD will be there, Vice President, and some of the people.
Counter-terrorism officers are leading an investigation into a stabbing at a school in Manchester. 2 pupils, both aged 14, and a teacher were injured in the attack at the Co-op Academy in Blackley on Tuesday. A 14-year-old girl who was arrested on suspicion of assault and later detained under the Mental Health Act has been released to police custody. It has not yet been declared a terrorist incident. And Britain's biggest budget airline's under investigation over claims it could be unfairly charging parents to sit next to their children. The competition watchdog's looking into whether Ryanair's fees, typically £8 for a one-way flight, are breaking consumer laws. Ryanair claims the CMA's investigation is bogus. An update on the investigation is expected by the end of this year. And you're up to date with the headlines. More coming up in about an hour's time.
Tune in to GB News Radio wherever you are. Online, on DAB digital radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player, on Nation Player and on your smart speaker. Just say, play GB News.
Welcome along. Good evening. Now, the Prime Minister is in crisis once again tonight after a dramatic night of multiple resignations. It's been an action-packed day of political manoeuvres. Defence Secretary John Healey, former, fired the starting gun when he resigned just after midday. Now, part of his resignation letter to the Prime Minister said this: "You have been unable and the Treasury has been unwilling to commit the resources that the nation needs to defend the country at this time of rising threats. I am being forced to make decisions that would reduce the readiness of our forces and increase the risk to personnel on operations and could make the country less safe." And there it is in black and white from a Defence Secretary who is in a position to know what dire straits we're in. But personally, I think John Healey might have had enough of the humiliation.
How many frigates do we have in the fleet?
We have 17 frigates and destroyers. It's down from 23 at the end of the last Labour government.
Yeah, inspiring stuff. We've had several disasters on John Healey's watch. HMS Dragon taking a month to limp towards the Mediterranean to protect our base on Cyprus. We had to rely on the French to do it for us for a while. The Cypriots are now considering booting us out of their country. When it was our turn to lead a NATO exercise, we had to borrow a German warship because we didn't have any. All bar one of our frigates are out of action currently. Our flagship aircraft carrier is out of action. Our submarines don't work. Low morale in the armed forces is at 59%. There is an interesting line, though, in Healey's resignation that stands out to me. He tells Keir Starmer, "After explaining to you that I would not be able to accept the defence investment plan that does not give our armed forces the resources they need, I am now left with no other option than to submit my resignation." And this is important. This is really important, because Keir Starmer appears to have chosen what little remains of his pathetic political career over the defence of our country and the safety of our brave military heroes. Instead of increasing defence spending to what it needs to be, he's trying to massage the figures and say, "I'll do it all in a few years' time." He has chosen to side with Chancellor Rachel Reeves over the Defence Secretary. And he's done that because if he sacks his Chancellor, he knows he'll definitely have to resign himself. That is not patriotism, that is not leadership, that is not a man who loves his country, that is weak, selfish cowardice. Now, the Defence Investment Plan was due to be published in December 2025. Starmer still hasn't published it, but obviously people in the Ministry of Defence had advance sight of it and they hate it. They don't think it's worth the paper it's written on. Kemi Badenoch was absolutely spot on yesterday.
The Prime Minister says he's increased defence spending. He's not. This year, he's cutting it by £3.5 billion. What he's talking about is hopeful increases, which we don't know if he will do because there is still no defence investment plan. At a time that we need leadership, Mr. Speaker, we have total paralysis.
Instead, he's giving it away in benefits. His own Work and Pensions Secretary, Pat McFadden, revealed in WhatsApp messages to the disgraced mate of a paedophile, Peter Mandelson, that all the Labour backbenchers talk about is who they can tax more so they can give it away in benefits. Starmer is just full of BS, isn't he? He said this a few times.
My first duty is obviously to keep this country safe. The first duty of the UK Prime Minister is the safety and security of our citizens. My first duty, the duty above everything else, is to keep our country safe.
But it's not true for him, is it? He doesn't actually think that. If Starmer really thought that, he wouldn't be allowing the invasion of the South Coast by a load of illegal immigrants. He wouldn't be allowing the invasion of our land border with Ireland by illegal immigrants. He wouldn't be scattering them around the country in houses of multiple occupancy. He wouldn't be using military barracks to house illegal foreign men. He wouldn't be handing out benefits to people who have as many children as they want, even if they've only just come here from places like Somalia and Bangladesh. He wouldn't be ramping up benefits for people who could and should be in work so they can lounge around all day taking copious amounts of ADHD medication. He wouldn't have signed off on a new Chinese super embassy that will probably be used as a spy hub. He wouldn't have lifted sanctions on Russian oil so that Putin can make billions to keep killing Ukrainians. He wouldn't be allowing Russian ships to sail down the English Channel to deliver that dodgy oil. He wouldn't have tried to give away Chagos and make us all pay for the privilege. He would have prescribed the IRGC. He wouldn't have recognised the state of Palestine with Hamas still in charge of Gaza. None of those things are the actions of a man who prioritises our national security over everything else, are they? Now, Al Carnes, a very well-respected former member of our Special Forces, he was a Royal Marine Commando, Military Cross recipient, rose to the rank of Colonel. Well, he won't be taking over from Healey. He resigned as well this evening. In a scathing letter, he wrote, "A serving minister cannot ask fellow veterans to trust a process he no longer trusts himself. We ask soldiers to fight for this country. In return, we owe them the kit to do the job and the loyalty to stand by them when it's done. We are failing on both. The machinery of government itself has been left to decay." And that is stark, really, because one of the key things he's talking about there is this government's desire, and it is a desire, to prosecute British military heroes for things that they may or may not have done years ago in Northern Ireland. Now, he was followed out the door by John Healey's ministerial aide, Pamela Nash. And, I mean, we can all agree that the loss of Pam Nash is the big news today. I had to check and see if she was real, but apparently she is. I don't know if Starmer knew it, but anyway, she's gone. And then, the breaking news in the past hour. The Prime Minister has appointed Dan Jarvis as Defence Secretary. Now, he is a highly respected former parachute regiment officer who served in Iraq, Afghanistan and Kosovo. His extensive military background, would normally provide strong credibility with the armed forces. However, He's already getting a bit of a kicking tonight, earlier on my show, from a former member of the SAS, basically saying that he's a bit of a traitor to veterans for doing this because of this reason. Why would he want to serve as Defence Secretary under a Prime Minister and an Attorney General who have been accused of wanting to prosecute British military heroes? Members of the SAS are quitting because they think Starmer and Hermer will try to charge them with war crimes just for doing their job. And this is before we've spoken about both Starmer and Hermer's track record as human rights lawyers, which saw them working on a case that opened the door to British war heroes being hauled through the court. So look, we have a potent combination in this country of incompetent Chancellor and an incompetent Prime Minister, and it is putting all of our lives at risk. Let's get the thoughts of my panel this evening. Political commentator Chloe Dobbs, former Tory peer, current Tory peer, Lord Bailey, former Labour advisor Matthew Larser. Sorry, Sean. Sean, I'll start with you. Yeah, look, I mean, what do you make of this procession out of the door today when it comes to our defence?
I think when you remove the heat of political toing and froing out, what the Defence Minister is saying and the Veterans Minister is saying is very important, because they are two ex-military people who cannot look the military in the eye. And I think, you know, wash away the party politics for a minute. They have shown themselves to be two men of integrity to say, look, there's some basic things we need to achieve and you're not doing them as Prime Minister. The wider story is he is no longer the Prime Minister. Even before he got rocked by the Mandelson scandal, the backbenchers were running the Labour Party. Now they're firmly in control. And the idea that backbenchers are going around saying who can we tax to pay to benefits, that's the real problem. There's been stories in the press today saying that Starmer won't rule out raising taxes to pay for defence. None of it's paying for defence. It's paying for the, quite frankly, massive bribe in the way we've parked young people in trouble. And we have this big conversation about how we're going to get young people back to work. There is no work for them because we're spending all our money on welfare and ridiculous initiatives to get them back to work. What we should be doing is building up business so there's actual people who can employ them. And until the Labour Party understand that it isn't austerity that caused this problem, and let's be clear, they had a much tougher austerity programme plan than the Tories ever did. It was in their manifesto. It is their inability to remove red tape and the fact that they've taxed job creation. They have to remove that if we're going to save the young people's future.
He's chosen benefits over the safety of Britain.
Yeah, I mean, Starmer has had so many scandals from the moment he's walked the door. Every time we think there's not possibly another scandal that could rock Starmer, another one turns up. But this one is very much one of his own making. He is the one who signed off on the budget for Benefit Street, as many of us have coined it. He decided to completely give up on facing the backbenchers who rebelled over that $5 billion attempted cut to the benefits bill. He is the one who is deciding to sign off on Ed Miliband's super expensive net zero policies. This is all money that could be going to defence. And the audacity of that man to go round to all of these, international conferences and having his coalition of the willing and going to the Munich Security Conference saying, it's our absolute top priority and our number one responsibility of a nation to defend ourselves, when in reality, he's not giving the money that is necessary to the people that want to fight for this country. And I think it is horrific, the fact that we have got so much money going to pay for the number of fighting-age young men who have come into this country illegally, which the number that are here is nearly equal to the number of serving members in our armed forces, by the way. We do way more to look after them than we do to look after the young fighting-age men in this country who actually want to defend our country. We can't give them the weaponry and the pay and the resources that they need in order to do their jobs.
It's absolutely shocking. Whenever Keir Starmer opens his mouth, the public assume he's lying. And I think that's because he always is. And now what's happened is that the Defence Secretary, the Armed Forces Minister, and to a lesser extent Paul Pam Nash, have all called him out on his BS and said, actually, we've had some form of advanced sight on this defence investment plan. You're going to try and sell it as the raising of the defence budget. It's not really. It's not enough. It doesn't work. And we can't stand by this. And if I look around that Labour front bench, we've got a business secretary who's never worked in business. David Lammy's thick as mince. We've got a chancellor who has massaged her CV to the extent we normally have to pay for that kind of massage in Soho, right? And we actually had a military cross recipient who served as a Royal Marines commando, who served in every single major war for the last 20-odd years with distinction, and Starmer has chosen Rachel Reeves over that guy. Why? Why has he done that?
Well, I mean, actually, I think it's not him choosing Rachel Reeves over Al Carnes or anybody else. I mean, as you said earlier, Dan Jarvis, who is the new Defence Secretary, has a distinguished record as a serving officer. So the Prime Minister has had to make a decision. And, you know, clearly John Healey, Al Carnes and Pam Nash thought that it was the wrong decision, and that is to increase the defence budget by a lot more than the Tories promised to do at the last election, or indeed the Liberal Democrats or any other party, but not by as much as people think, including the service chiefs think, to fulfil that. So the question really is, I don't think it's Rachel's fault. I think it's the Prime Minister needs to take responsibility, because he has the choice about whether he asks Rachel to cut benefits.
Fine, I mean, it's so weak you can't do it. Yeah. The problem is, and this is just so we've kind of done the political stuff, but like most people in this country will be absolutely terrified reading what Al Carnes and John Healey have said today. Yeah. They've basically said, we are largely defenceless.
Well, they've been terrified for a long time. When we couldn't even get a boat across the Cyprus, that's when the terror started for me. But let's be very clear. It is not Rachel Reeves' fault. Matthew's correct about that. It is the Prime Minister's fault. He's in charge. He could tell Rachel which way to jump, and quite frankly, she would do that. The most important piece is here, though. You've seen when they talked about reducing NHS waiting lists, there was some sleight of hand, there was some jiggery-pokery, and that's how that's people's opinion of what's gone on. And what you're seeing now with the budget, so Matthew talked about it being raised more than the Tories promised ever. It's not being raised as much as Labour promised, and that's the key thing. We're about to see another sleight of hand, a bit more jiggery-pokery, and the country doesn't believe Starmer. I hesitate to call Starmer a liar, but the country, many people in this country, feel like he is. Anything from his scandals to their manipulation of NHS stats to now their manipulation of the budget. You've got to be straight with people. Don't make a promise that you cannot keep.
And he was trying to gaslight us at PMQs this week on this, and in his rebuttal letter to John Healey, where he basically just completely ignored all of John Healey's points and just said, oh, everything's great, we're giving loads of money to defence. And we haven't cut the numbers down at all.
Well,
there's loads of money.
They are giving an extra £10 billion, Chloe.
And at PMQs, he just gave the same response out of his folder over and over again to Kemi Badenoch's questions, completely ignoring them, thinking we were all going to go along with it.
I think, Matthew, like, the game's up, isn't it, right? Like, the submarines aren't working, our flagship aircraft carrier's not working, we haven't got any frigates, really. I mean, I think we might have one, but it's somewhere near the Med somewhere, I think. I think it had to go into dock almost as soon as it got there because there was a problem with the bogs. We've had an RAF that was not Labour's fault. It discriminated against quotes unquote useless white men. All of this stuff. The game's up. The public know it's cooked, and Starmer doesn't seem to get that.
Look, I think that I'm not sure that any political leader has got it, because he has to tell the truth about how much money it's going to take. So I don't think we've had that from anybody. Which is, you know, in the new government that's elected in the Netherlands, centre-right government is putting a special defence levy on until it gets its defences back to what is needed, and then wants to take it off. So I think that this government needs to be braver and clearer, and I think any politician would have to be.
What do you make of what Al Carnes has said there, though, about and we've had members of the SAS resigning already over this, about the Legacy Act, the prosecution of British military veterans. I mean, I don't know how Dan Jarvis, after what Al Carnes has said, I don't really know how Dan Jarvis can stand there as a former member of the military himself if he's not secured anything better than what they've done.
I suspect that he probably has. He pulled something of a rabbit out of a hat. We'll maybe find out details in the coming days, because I think you're right, otherwise he wouldn't have taken the job.
Prosecution of British military veterans,
look,
biggie.
But this is a problem. You can fail politically on the money and all the rest, and clearly Starmer has failed on that. But there's a deeper, more personal thing for every serving member of our armed forces. And these prosecutions go to the fact that Labour have campaigned against the armed forces, and that is how they feel about it, I would imagine.
Thank you very much. Look, I imagine there'll be more detail on this on the front pages. We'll probably return to it. But before we get stuck into what we're talking about next, which is very worrying, actually, if you care about freedom of speech, I'm going to tell you about the Great British Giveaways. Loads of cash. Here's how you can be in it to win it.
We're here at the Imperial Island Resort in Paphos,
to celebrate the chance to enjoy your most spectacular summer to date. Someone has to win our stunning cash prize of £76,543.21, and that person really could be you. Imagine all of the fun you could have this year with that. You could treat the family, treat your friends, make it a super summer for everyone you know. Or just enjoy a bit of me time, safe in the knowledge all those day-to-day financial stresses have been taken care of. £76,543.21 in totally tax-free cash could be yours in time for summer. Just make sure you don't miss out as lines close on the 26th of June.
For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
OK, well, let's have a look at a couple of tomorrow's newspaper front pages. We go to The Sun. Thanks, but no tanks. Good headline, that. Defence quits with swipe at PM over cash. Plus, illegals have been moved out of the most famous migrant hotel in Britain. It's the Bell Hotel in Epping. But where are they going? Adam Brooks joins us live on that shortly. First, though, the government wants to limit what you can post on social media in times of crisis. This comes after the Henry Novak body cam footage, what we've seen in Northern Ireland. It's all very sinister. That's next.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you. Bulletins on GB News,
The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way.
You will not want to miss it, trust me. The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
The Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christys tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Stop. We can allow
Politics, policy, Parliament. Nothing
is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome along. We have actually decided to change the running order a little bit in the break because we've got some breaking news to bring you. Migrants have been removed from the Bell Hotel in Epping. Now, a spokesperson for Epping Forest District Council said that only security staff are remaining on the site, and it was seeking clarification from the Home Office. The Home Office said residents were removed because of fire safety concerns. Now, the hotel was, of course, the focus of huge protests over illegal immigration after one of its residents was charged and subsequently convicted of sexually assaulting a child. The Eritrean migrant was then accidentally released from HMP Chelmsford, and he sparked a massive nationwide manhunt. It was Kabatu, you remember that guy, of course you do. And it also sparked a court case, a landmark court case, where the locals, the council, took the government to court to say, we don't want a hotel here. And the government, as part of that court case, argued that the rights of asylum seekers trump the rights of local people. You all remember that. Well, it looks like now that hotel has closed. I'm joined now by businessman, activist and landlord Adam Brooks. Adam, thank you very much, mate. Great to see you tonight. Cheers for coming on for us. What do we know about what's gone on here? It all seems a bit nosy to know where they've gone.
Well, the news broke as I was in a boxing press conference. So, I knew as much as probably yous, But I think what's very, very, very telling is that the council didn't even seem to know what was going on. So that sheds a bit of light to how many authorities, local authorities, are kept in the dark by the Home Office about these asylum centres and hotels in their areas. Look, I'm very, very proud to have played a very tiny part in the protests, in getting this story out there, because we just know the mainstream media would have hid it. If I hadn't gone there with my camera and put it out there, the mainstream media would have tried to bury it. The police would have tried to bury it, like many other councils and such. So, look, I'm really, really pleased. I'm not in that area at the moment. I'm up north, but I'm so pleased for the local people. My nieces go to the school literally 300 metres behind the Bell Hotel. And look, it's anecdotes, but I've had people tell me that these migrants have been defecating on the common, in the street, harassing women. I've got 2 staff members that have been harassed by these men. Really has brought terrible trouble to Epping. The shopkeepers told me that the shoplifting went off the charts. If you look in some of the shops, the security arrangements has really beefed up over the last 2 years there. It's a quiet little Essex village, and it is so, so wrong to house these sort of unchecked, unverified people from around the world. And look, I'm over the moon, and I hope it's for good. I really do.
Well, there we go. I mean, look, we'll have to wait and see if it is for good. I mean, so far the Home Office is apparently saying it's for fire safety, which I don't know if you can believe that or not. I mean, they've said they're going to close these hotels. The big question, of course, becomes, well, where are they going to put them? We don't know. We quite possibly won't find out until potentially something goes wrong. We're going to be putting them in housing multiple occupancy probably. But, there is a good chance now that this is a community that will get its hotel back. That will have knock-on effects to businesses. It will have knock-on effects for pubs. It will have knock-on effects, of course, for the safety of the area and just general stuff. And it might return to some sort of normality. We're going to read a Home Office statement now, and it says, the government is removing the incentives drawing illegal migrants to Britain. We are closing every asylum hotel and moving asylum seekers into basic accommodation, including ex-military sites. The population of asylum seekers in hotels has fallen by 35% in the last year and by 63% compared to the peak of the previous government. But what we were looking at on your screens right now is some of the local protests that we saw about this hotel. And that was in the wake of one of the people who was at that hotel sexually assaulting a schoolgirl. And there is a relevance here, Adam, to another story that I'm sure you will have seen. And there is a massive censorship row taking place tonight after the government unveiled plans to curb social media use in what they say are times of crisis. So writing, ironically, on social media last night, the Technology Secretary Liz Kendall said, those who use social media to incite violence and disorder are breaking the law. Next week, we will lay in Parliament an update to the Online Safety Act requiring services to take quicker action to remove illegal content circulating during times of crisis. Now Adam, you were there. You were doing live broadcasts from protests out there. There's a very good chance, mate, that they would accuse you, wrongly in my view, they would accuse you of inciting violence and disorder, and they would class that as a time of crisis. And then, bingo, you get a knock on the door from the police, don't you?
Look, I was on holiday last summer, coming back, expected maybe police to stop me at Stansted Airport because there were so many lefties and wokies online tagging the Met Police, tagging Essex Police, that I'd incited so-called riots. I even had a hashtag, Brooks Riots, when it was kicking off in Epping. All I did was report the truth. And if we're living in a country now where you cannot report the truth, we're living under a dictator. And I think Keir Starmer and his government should be ashamed of themselves. They are treating everyday Brits as the enemy, and they are treating these foreign invaders as a priority. And people have had enough. I've even had lefties come up to me in Manchester, that's where I am at the moment, saying, you know what, I thought you was wrong last year, you were bang on. And that is people in their 30s, in their 20s, that thought, I was wrong last year. Now they're saying, we can see why you do it. There's no hate from me. There's no malice. These men are a danger, or many of these men are a danger to our young girls and our women. And we've got to stop it. I would shut the asylum system. And when people say, oh, that's unfair, all right, let's make it for women and children only, because we cannot keep having these men that are desensitised. At a minimum, they're desensitised to violence, if not violent or very sexual, plonked in the middle of these little villages and towns and not expecting these things to happen. So look, this is a message to Keir Starmer. Start putting your own people first.
Well, there we go. Look, Adam, thank you very much for taking the time out. I know that you're busy preparing for a boxing match. It's on Saturday, isn't it, I think?
Yeah, Saturday. It's live on DAZN. I've got a tough fight ahead of me. I'm doing all the media stuff at the moment. But look, I'm promoting Knives Down. I want, if one kid puts a knives down because they see it on my shorts or on my T-shirts, it's a good thing. So let's try and make the streets safer for our kids.
Absolutely, Adam. Look, thank you so much, mate. Take care. Good luck to you as well. We're all rooting for you. Take care. Adam Brooks there. OK, look, obviously, when it comes to social media stuff, the government will be saying that, this is because they don't want people essentially whipping up riots. They don't want people sharing false information that could lead to that. But, that's what they would say. Coming up, all of tomorrow's newspaper front pages. And I've got advanced sight of the Daily Express for you now. Prime Minister's defence plans could make us less safe. Probably the most Keir Starmer thing ever, isn't it? That's next.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there. High pressures building in for much of Europe to bring plenty of sunshine. It's especially warm through the Canary Islands through the rest of this week. Temperatures climbing towards the high 20s across Tenerife. Also quite warm in Portugal as well as Italy. Temperatures climb into the low 30s here. There's a risk of thunderstorms across Greece, particularly in the afternoons, and that risk does continue into the weekend. But otherwise, it looks pretty warm and pretty sunny if you're heading away. Bye-bye.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Good evening. Today's rain is generally clearing away overnight, and tomorrow looks a lot drier and a bit warmer than today as well. Will be sunny all day. We'll see skies tending to brighten though as we go through the day. Still some showers to come in western Scotland. We're between high and low pressure. These weather fronts definitely won today's battle with a lot of cloud and outbreaks of rain. It is all now starting to clear away. We'll keep some rain and drizzle around western coast and hills through the night, but many places will be largely dry through the night. Some breaks in the cloud appearing over northeast England and eastern Scotland, where temperatures may dip down to single figures. But for most, it's quite a warm night, quite a humid feel, certainly across the south. Temperatures holding up in the teens. Still quite breezy here as well. It's been a blustery day and still fairly gusty as we go through Friday. A lot of cloud to start with, but generally dry. Just a bit of a grey, murky start for southern counties of England. Rain and drizzle on and off for Wales and northwest England. Parts of Northern Ireland also starting with a little bit of rain in the morning, and a few showers coming into western Scotland. We'll see more of them developing here, but some breaks in the cloud over eastern Scotland down into northeast England. So generally a fine sunny start tomorrow morning here. Now, as we go through the day, we'll see the skies mostly tending to brighten, the cloud lifting and breaking, the rain and drizzle tending to ease from northwest England and Wales, and some good spells of sunshine coming out. There'll be a bit of brightness between the showers in northwest Scotland, but heavy showers keeping going here. It may stay fairly cloudy across the south coast and breezy, but with some sunshine. Look at those numbers, back up above 20 Celsius. So probably feeling quite a bit warmer across eastern England, certainly compared to today. Into the weekend, and many places becoming drier and warmer, but still plenty of heavy showers across northern Scotland. 1 or 2 still for northwest England and Northern Ireland. But the trend as we go into the weekend is for the weather to calm down a little bit, turning drier, eventually sunnier, and also a little bit warmer.
From cold mornings
to warm family brunches.
From football to tennis in the car.
In the kitchen.
GB News Breakfast is there. With the stories you need and the conversations that matter.
Anyway, let's talk business.
Well, it has been a historic night in British politics.
It's astonishing, isn't it? We're here again to start your day just right. GB News Breakfast.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back. We've got a stellar set of front pages for you here. Let's kick things off with tomorrow's Metro. Our defence is in crisis. As the World Cup begins, the PM's tactics are under fire. The Guardian, they go for Healy's shock resignation leaves Starmer on the brink. I mean, this guy's been on the brink for goodness knows how long. He lives on the brink, doesn't he? I wonder if he started to quite enjoy the brink, but there we go. We go now to the Express. PM's defence plans could actually make us less safe. And this is it, isn't it? You know, trying to basically put lipstick on a pig here with this ridiculous defence plan, which, you know, is long overdue and doesn't cut the mustard. The Sun probably win the headline of the day, I think. They go, thanks but no tanks. Defence Secretary quits with swipe at PM over cash. And since then, probably since they went to print, as you will know, we have also lost the Armed Forces Minister. We've got a new Defence Secretary, Dan Jarvis, who's already coming under fire from members of the Armed Forces, some of them anyway, for taking the job, given the state of it. Has he managed to get anything else? Is he actually only trying to further his own career? That could be the question. Right, Daily Express front page. I mean, the idea that it's actually going to make us less safe is pretty ridiculous, isn't it? This, and you know, Sean, look, it's a terrible position to be in as a country where we just don't have, we kind of know, and Putin knows, and Xi Jinping knows, and all these people know now exactly what a weak position Britain is in militarily.
Look, I'm not sure we could be any less safe, quite frankly. But the problem is now, I think Europe is failed, not just Starmer. The whole of Europe has failed on defence. We attack Trump all the time, Ten's a lunatic, but for years, America has been paying for our defence. We just happen to be the worst offender. And we need to rehabilitate ourselves and be able to stand up for ourselves in the world. What it is, European leaders in particular, Starmer's very guilty. It's like to run around the world spending our money on anything from basket weaving to fantasy defence situations that they can't cover.
Well, speaking of Trump, we've got the G7 summit next week where Starmer is going to have to face Donald Trump, and Trump's probably going to bring this up. And it's going to be pretty embarrassing for Starmer. We've had Trump absolutely begging the UK and the other NATO countries to pay for their own defence after we have been completely reliant on America for a very long time. And Trump is not going to be pleased at all with this at a time when the special relationship is already in shaky ground.
And so, just to clarify again, we were supposed to get this defence investment plan that was due on in December 2025. It's been kicked into the long grass despite everything that's been going on. In the meantime, we found out that we couldn't muster a warship to the Mediterranean within a month. The subs aren't working. The aircraft carrier's not working. We all know the score by now. One thing that stood out to me was an outrageous attempted smear from a Treasury source on John Healey, who, to be fair, doesn't really need any help disgracing himself after not knowing how many frigates we had. But he's done the right thing here and quit and told us about what's going on. He's told us the actual truth here, which is that this defence investment plan is not worth the paper it's written on. A Treasury source, Matthew, said, let's be clear on what John is asking for. Cuts to schools and hospitals. Well, yeah, OK. We won't have any schools and hospitals if Putin rolls the tanks in, will we? You know, it is the thing. This cuts right to the heart of what Pat McFadden revealed about the Labour backbenchers, which is that they're just looking at people who they can tax more to give more away in benefits.
Yeah, why have they just mentioned schools and hospitals there? Why not say John Healey's asking for a cut to net zero or cut to the amount of money we spend on migrant hotels, or cut to the amount of money that we spend on welfare, which is just absolutely ballooning. So, I mean, it was just complete straw man there.
Yeah, I mean, that is a pretty emotive quote. It shows that the government is in something of disarray today over this. I mean, there's one minister quoted in one of the papers saying that it's not the beginning of the end, we're well past that, ... So, I mean, that isn't... I mean, I feel sorry for the Treasury because the Prime Minister has to take the decision. Poor Rachel has had to go round and ask ministers like Heidi Alexander, the Transport Secretary, to dig deep, cancel a few projects and find some cash, when actually you've got to look at the biggest line item in the budget, which is welfare, and which isn't, you know, over half of welfare goes to pensioners. So, you know, do we have to look at the triple lock if we want to have defence, for example? I mean, I think we do too,
Yes, we do. I'm on record saying we have to look at the triple defence. You can't just burden young people with all these cuts, working families. We're all going to have to take...
Everybody's going to have to play their part,
but this cuts to the core of why Labour will never succeed. Firstly, they constantly talk about austerity, forgetting they were the source of austerity and they had a much tougher austerity programme planned for the country. And thirdly, we have canonised public services. We constantly talk about public services. All the Labour government do is announce how much money they're going to spend on this, that and the other. Politics isn't just about spending more money. We're going to have to rationalise if we're going to survive.
And I actually think there's an ideological issue here. You know, Jeremy Corbyn posted on X, we don't need more money for bombs and bullets. We need more money for things like schools, hospitals and all this stuff. Basically a pacifist, OK? And many people would say he's someone who... He would deny this, but many people would say that he's actually someone who just fundamentally doesn't like Britain. And Keir Starmer tried to get that bloke elected twice. And I wonder if there's something ideological going on here. Keir Starmer comes out for the camera and goes, the first duty of any Prime Minister is to protect its citizens. Whereas actually, this is a guy that used to want to abolish the monarchy. This is a guy who's got some pretty fruity views. When he was a human rights lawyer, did some incredibly questionable things, for free, by the way, when it comes to prosecuting or helping to prosecute, whatever you might say, British military veterans. And now here we are. There has never been a better opportunity to make the case for cutting welfare and increasing the defence budget, and he is not doing it, and it just doesn't seem to make sense.
I mean, I don't think he's anywhere near as scary as Jeremy Corbyn, but you're right, he absolutely has a history, Starmer. He's known as flip-flop Starmer for a reason, and that he's changed his views now in that he'll go whichever way the wind blows, whichever way his advisors, be it Morgan McSweeney, who he had previously, and, you know, whoever it is now that no one seems to know the name of. He's got a difficult past, Starmer. I don't think, even if he isn't a complete pacifist like Corbyn, I don't think that he is taking this anywhere near as seriously as he needs to, despite the fact that you've got the MOD absolutely screaming at him in the Treasury saying, we are in huge trouble if we were to be invaded.
And they've given him a chance. They gave him a chance. When everyone else was quitting, when there was that revolving door on Downing Street the other week and it all looked like it was going Pete Tong for him, they gave him a chance. No one can say that they didn't try to stick with him, and here we are. But look, we're going to come back to some more front pages in the next section. The Daily Mail's front page tomorrow apparently just reads, God help us. So... there you go. That's the state of Britain at the moment. And I've also got a good news story for you about a very lucky dog. A very lucky dog, and it will put a smile on your face. And it's gone with the headline, Canu's a good boy. And you'll find out why when we come back.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
I retired from swimming after Paris 2024 Olympic Games. The main reason being that I just couldn't financially support myself swimming anymore. So I retired at 24 years old and then started working in the corporate world. And then to go to your point, how I got involved, I had a former teammate who joined the Enhanced Games, and he called me and was like, there's a spot on the team for a butterfly swimmer. I said you'd be a good fit. So I just got speaking to him and then spoke with the Enhanced team and kind of moved on from there.
The lines aren't crossing, are they, between proper, I say proper, and with respect, when we look at Olympic sports, etc., where drugs are not allowed, this is almost a completely separate thing, right? And there's no blurred lines between the two of them.
We're in a different league. We're doing something completely different, right? Are we swimming the same events? Are we running the same events? Yeah, but we're not competing against the athletes in the other league.
GB News, Martin Daubney, weekdays from 3 p.m.
3 legendary builders have become internet cookery stars by knocking up hot dinners in their transit van. It's White Van Scran. Let's now speak with the builders Nathan and Pedro Moore and Archie Price. Lads, you've become internet legends. Pedro, you're the chef, and I believe you're about to knock us up some White Van Scran. Over to you.
I'm going to do a quick omelette for you right here, right now.
Quick omelette. This is how we do it.
Straight in pan.
Are we classed as legends then? Yeah, you're legends, mate. So tell us what's going on here. You're pouring what is that batter? Here you go. You're chopping up a pepper. What with the Stanley knife?
Yeah. So now straight in.
Fresh blade.
Every time.
All right. And what's going into this, lads? What are you doing for us here?
Salt, pepper, onion, garlic. It's like easy, fun cooking. You put whatever you want in it.
The People's Channel. GB News Breakfast. Every day from 6 a.m.
At Sheldon Junior School in Derby, they noticed the children were failing to develop adequate social skills, and coaching youngsters in chat, etc., was important. I really do think we've got 1 million young people out of work right now, and I truly believe because of mobile phones and because of social media and because people are stuck in their bedroom, they are losing the art of conversation, and I think it's tragic.
Families should be talking.
Yeah, I mean, for me, there's been such a huge shift because this is a primary school, and they're basically saying don't give smartphones to primary school age children. Wait till they're in secondary. But I would say that most parents are thinking that now. Millennials, we're much stricter about screen time, much more so than, say, the generation before us.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Welcome back. Let me get you the rest of tomorrow's newspaper front pages. The Daily Telegraph go with Healy torpedoes Starmer. There's another article here which is from someone who says that they joined the bus ride to the UK with a migrant to expose how porous our border is. So there you go. The next paper that we've got here is the Daily Mail. God help us, they go for. Don't leave Britain defenceless. Military leaders warn we haven't faced such a global threat for generations. The Times, cash row costs PM his defence ministers. And the Daily Star, joy of Mex. Shakira gets party started with spectacular World Cup opener. Apparently South Africa had 2 players sent off in the opening game, which they lost to Mexico.
That's pretty game over, isn't it?
Game over. There was only 3 group games, so they're off now. They just get to enjoy Mexico, I suppose. So fair play to them in a way. But yeah, so all right. I mean, yeah, the defence thing is obviously leading the agenda. I mean, how does Starmer, from a political perspective, how does Starmer come out and address this? You know, there's no.
I'm constantly astonished that he's still the Prime Minister. There is a bizarre set of events where he could remain the Prime Minister until the next election. You know, we're all looking at Andy now. Andy might lose. Andy might lose the by-election, or he may not even win the election against Starmer, because Starmer said he's going to stand. I mean, it will be... This is a psychodrama even worse than the ones that we went through.
Absolutely, yes. Anything can happen. Right, OK. So let's just... I want to finish on this one because this is a good news story, all right? Let me tell you a happy tale. Bruce, the Alsatian, found himself in doggy waters after drifting more than 2 miles out to sea in an inflatable kayak when his owner lost hold of the rope. Thankfully, this sea dog didn't have to weather the rough seas for long, as he was soon rescued before his adventure got any further out of hand. Take a look.
Hey, buddy. How are you? Hello. You're about to head off to Longston and then Norway. Boy. How are you, buddy? You're the goodest of boys.
Yeah, they found him in his canoe, didn't they? Canoe's a good boy, then. Yeah. Canoe's a good boy.
Never mind muddy water, you've got doggy water.
But that's a scary shot when the canoe, there's nothing but water around him. That's my worst nightmare. Oh, my goodness.
I'm impressed by the number of bad dad jokes that you managed
Thank
to
you
fit
very
into
much.
that.
Yeah.
Thank
You're
you.
a dad,
You did well.
Say that.
There's a second career for you on the stage.
Yeah, did it make you pull?
You're doing panto this year?
Oh, yeah, well...
I'd love to see you in panto.
It's very remunerative, panto.
Yes, apparently it is.
Yes.
Well, it's
isn't.
a window into my future.
Oh, no, it isn't.
Yes.
Not just yours, all of us.
Get in. Yeah, the GB News Christmas Panto. Could be
bring it on.
Bring it
a
on.
new tradition.
But I love these stories when there's a happy ending.
Yeah.
Because seriously, it's like, you know, that poor dog, it's one of those things. Because often the owner's going, you know, it's like a frozen lake or whatever. The owners go in, the owner dies, the dog gets out. But this one, it looked like hope was lost. And apparently the owner did try to swim after it, but was like, I just can't.
Yeah, of course.
And there's a longer clip of that, but the crew on that ship that managed to rescue the dog said, look, the owner did actually do the right thing going back, because the owner would have died.
Yes,
gone out.
absolutely.
So they got the dog back. So there you go. No one asked the dog, though. Maybe he wanted to be free. No, I'm off. I'm going the other way. Anyway, right, thank you very much,
Thank you.
panel. We've got a load more to get stuck into in the front pages in the next hour, so don't go anywhere.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good evening. Today's rain is generally clearing away overnight, and tomorrow looks a lot drier and a bit warmer than today as well. Will be sunny all day. We'll see skies tending to brighten though as we go through the day. Still some showers to come in western Scotland. We're between high and low pressure. These weather fronts definitely won today's battle with a lot of cloud and outbreaks of rain. It is all now starting to clear away. We'll keep some rain and drizzle around western coast and hills through the night, but many places will be largely dry through the night. Some breaks in the cloud appearing over northeast England and eastern Scotland, where temperatures may dip down to single figures, but for most it's quite a warm night, quite a humid feel, certainly across the south. Temperatures holding up in the teens. Still quite breezy here as well. It's been a blustery day and still fairly gusty as we go through Friday. A lot of cloud to start with, but generally dry. Just a bit of a grey, murky start for southern counties of England. Rain and drizzle on and off for Wales and northwest England. Parts of Northern Ireland also starting with a little bit of rain in the morning.